quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Tabletop Gold, the 44th edition.
Woo! 44.
My name is Lars Casteen. I am your host. I'm your game master for this podcast, and I am joined tonight by four lovely people. Let's meet them. Robin Lange is here.
Hi. That's all I got. I'm sorry. I need to prepare more.
No, it doesn't need to be original. You just need to say hello.
Oh, man, 44 times. It's getting... Hi, Lars. How are you tonight?
I'm fine. Robin, I'm fine. You don't need to ask me that. I'm okay.
Pressure.
I know, it is. Humphreys is here.
Hey, good evening.
In the pressure cooker.
That's right. I was born in the pressure cooker. I was raised in the pressure cooker. And now I've moved to sunny Austin, Texas.
Coming to us straight from Austin, David Chernicoff is here as well. Not from Austin. He's in North Carolina, the Tricky Triangle.
Thank you for clarifying. It seemed like you were actually appending that. But yes, no, I don't live there. But it's great to be here. Here being not Austin, Texas.
Yes. Zoe Chernicoff is also not in Austin, Texas. Welcome, Zoe.
Welcome. Bienvenue, stranger.
Is that like La Vie en Rose or something? Oh, it's cabaret. Life is a cabaret. Joel, what's that guy's name?
Joel Gray.
Joel Gray. David Chernicoff, you sent a message earlier today saying that something had happened to you that had not ever happened to you before in your life.
Yes.
And that seemed like a great thing for us to potentially talk about. I have no idea what it is they're about to say, and I'm intrigued about what it is that you experienced. So the floor is yours. David, what happened to you today?
So, and what happened today was the culmination of something that started a couple of months ago.
Oh.
When I needed shoes. And so I went on the internet.
The stakes of the story have gotten much lower than I thought they were.
I never promised you a rose garden.
No, I know. I'm just calibrating my own expectations as we go along.
Oh, I really wish now that the stakes were incredibly high. But I can't.
They could get there. They could get there.
That's true.
What happened with these shoes? What happened with these shoes?
I bought several pairs of the same type of shoes, but in different colors. And I chose
what?
Because I was pretty sure I knew what shoes I wanted to buy. And Zoe just covering her face is so good. So good. Such a look into our marriage. So I bought
how many pairs of shoes would you say you bought?
Okay.
Three?
That's
Was
different.
it 3?
It was like 6, I think.
More.
David, is this how you buy shoes?
That's a lot of shoes to buy online, David.
Are you a caterpillar, David?
Don't think for a second he's keeping all of these.
Oh,
I get
okay.
it. So you bought them to try on, right?
To try on and to see in real life the different colorways for the shoes.
IRL, if you will.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
And I ended up making a choice to keep a pair of shoes that's like a little bit louder than what your boy David would normally select for himself. Not super loud. There were louder pairs. I almost kept an even louder pair, but just a little bit louder. I just turned the volume a little bit up on my everyday footwear.
I think you did exactly the right thing. I actually think about this a lot. I feel as though the item of clothing that you should buy is always the item of clothing that is just slightly beyond your comfort zone. Always get the thing that makes you feel just slightly uncomfortable, because that's going to be an article of clothing that makes a statement. It is going to draw attention, but it is still part of and connected to your particular vibe. David, I think you have made a great choice.
Thank you, Lars. I love that you're saying that, because it is almost exactly the opposite of my typical fashion default, which is that I want people to notice and think about my clothing as little as possible. I assume that anyone who notices what I'm wearing will be noticing that it is out of place or messed up or inappropriate, or that I will only attract attention for the wrong reason. So in my life, I've tended to be incredibly not just like conservative in the sense that people usually mean about clothes, but like have almost intentionally bought clothing in hopes that no one will ever register it at all. They'll be like, hey, if people asked about, hey, what was that guy wearing? People will be like, I don't know, clothes. Like, that's what I'm going for. And this time I bought a slightly louder pair of shoes. And when you were messaging people to say earlier today, you were messaging the cast here to say, has anything interesting happened? As I received the message, someone walked by me where I was sitting. I was sitting outside waiting for a prescription to get filled in a drugstore for our dog.
Of course, you got 6 prescriptions just to try out all 6 of them and see which one treats the disease most efficiently.
That's right. I am flying right now. And so is Alice.
No, I can tell.
No, and as the alert popped up and I was reading the message, someone walked by me and said, "Nice shoes."
It feels good, right?
I guess so. I was mostly stunned.
I have 2 questions for David before we move on.
Yes.
1, why did you choose in this instance to go outside of your comfort zone? And 2, what do these shoes look like?
Yes, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What do these shoes look like, David? You're driving me crazy.
Well, Zoe, what do these shoes look like?
Just so listener knows, Zoe just like covered her face with her hands and just leaned forward.
Before we do the reveal, I think it's worth noting that my internal monologue right now, all I am thinking about is a fight that David and I had. I don't know, what would this have been, 10 years ago?
Oh, more than that.
In the Macy's?
Yeah.
David was officiating a wedding, which is something he has done for many friends. And so it was a beach, like resort beach wedding. So getting the right suit vibe, etc. And this whole debacle of trying on so many suits, because it wasn't a pandemic, you could do it in person. Basically concluded with me suggesting things like, a green tie or a blue tie, a beach, sort of like not patterned, but just like a little more of and David, like, not shouting at me in a mean way, but like in a moment of duress, in a raised voice going, I don't wear bright colors like you do. So all I can think about right now is David like exclaiming at me that he didn't wear bright colors like I did.
I mean, to be fair, Zoe, you were suggesting like a ludicrous orange tie that there was no way. The whole thing that I was looking for was a suit that I could officiate a wedding in, which I was incredibly nervous about. And all I wanted was for no one in the audience to think about my clothing.
That definitely adds a wrinkle to the equation for sure.
And so Zoe was like, how about a bright fucking orange tie?
Yeah, but your response was, I don't wear bright colors. Like,
which is accurate.
I need to. Okay. So David just sent a link to allbirds.co.uk. It's a
I only found the
shoe
color that I was looking for for some reason, the British version of this website. But yeah, they're black shoes, but they have a bright yellow sole, and they have these kind of the like, I don't know what the word is for.
They're trainers. They're sneakers.
Yeah,
the rivets around where the laces go are orange.
They're quite fun, I will say.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're delightful.
I think you made a great choice. This is
Agreed.
exactly the shoe that you should have bought. I just want to say, David.
Thank you.
I appreciate you saying that. This is exactly the shoe that is in the universe of things you would wear and is just over the line.
So Lars,
yeah,
you are now the second person ever to compliment me on my shoes.
Those are delightful shoes. Yeah.
Oh, we got 3.
There you go.
David, I hope you continue down this road. I want to hear about another article of clothing at some point.
Or accessory. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
or
I owe
accessory.
you like a report back.
You don't
on
owe me anything. I just think it seems like it's bringing you joy, and I think that you should dip another toe in these clothy waters.
in these shoes.
Yeah, dip another toe in your
There's
shoes.
threads in their water.
Maybe by the time we get to episode 144, I'll have something else for you here.
Yes, 100 episodes from now, we're going to check in with you one more time.
Yeah.
And you're going to be covered in you're going to look like the Riddler at this by the time we're with you in 100 episodes.
Not just any Riddler, but like Jim Carrey Riddler.
yes.
Yes,
Like Jim Carrey
Riddler.
Wow. It always goes back to Jim Carrey on this podcast.
Which
Yes,
Riddler does
absolutely.
really intense body modification stuff? That's the Riddler I'm gonna.
I think you just pitched a new hot take on the Riddler, dude.
Body mod Riddler.
I
Let's
love
go.
it.
It's like once I realized the body is the ultimate riddle, and he's got like a real scene haircut or something.
And he sounds like Snake from The Simpsons.
So, everybody, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who's left a review of Tabletop Gold at their podcast app of choice. Rating and reviewing our show is the best tool that we have to help new people find us. So thank you to everybody who's done it. Now, let's
Can
get...
we also
Yes.
thank people on Reddit too and other
Yeah, of
areas? Because I feel like every time, in addition, like just across the interwebs, I feel like people are really kind and wonderful about our podcast, and I just want to give a shout out to people in general and thank everyone.
I agree.
Yes.
But also
Yeah,
those people
thank
should
you.
leave reviews.
Yeah, right.
Yes, please also if you are saying nice things about us on other places than your podcast place of choice, please
Just
also
copy and
go leave a
paste.
review.
Right.
Yeah.
Just copy and paste
It's Control C
Yeah.
and Control V. It's super fast.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get into our game.
Yes.
Your companion and guide in this vast underground library, Augriel, the undead Morlock, has brought you to a place of some significance to him. It's the room where Augriel and his brethren were first attacked by the flesh-obsessed ghouls that dwell here. When you first entered this wide octagonal chamber, you discovered it was packed full of rare-looking books and depraved-looking ghouls. Just as one of the undead was inviting you to a meeting with some sort of priestess, Trill lobbed a magical bead packed with devastating fire magic in its direction.
Ha-ha!
And that is where we are going to pick up right now.
Yes.
I just want to let you know, before Robin tells us how much damage she rolled on these 6d6 fire damage that she is rolling from throwing this bead of fireballs,
Wow.
Yes.
this is episode 44. We are going to break off another 5 next episode.
Oh.
So use or lose any hero points that you have remaining.
How many hero
Now.
points do we have between us? 5? 4?
I believe
11?
you have 5.
I have one.
Vadim has 2. Everybody else has 1.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So yes, Robin, it is Trill's turn. Trill is in the midst of spending her first action right now. She has lobbed this bead and it is exploding in a 20-foot radius. And I just want to spell this out real quickly. This positioning of this bead that she has done, 1, is going to hit all of the ghouls. 2 is going to hit none of her allies. And 3, none of the ghouls even have cover against this bead because of the way that the fire is radiating out. It is a direct path to each and every one of these ghouls. So this is a huge attack. Now, Robin, how much damage did you roll for this fireball?
I'm so excited that we found a place to use this stupid necklace.
Hell yeah.
Especially considering I have almost no spell slots left. That 6d6 of damage ends up being 26 damage.
All right.
So this is 26 damage coming to 4 ghouls and one of these ghoul cultists. They each get to make a reflex save, and the reflex save on the bead of fireballs is a DC 21.
Wow.
Wow.
We're going to see what happens as these ghouls attempt to dodge out of the way of this fireball. 3 of the ghouls succeeded, meaning that they're going to take half damage. That's
still take
13 points of
That's
damage.
still pretty good. I'll take
The
that.
cultist is failed. They're going to take full damage. That's 26. And one of the other ghouls is taking the full 26.
One thing this is hammering home for me is that there are a lot of these motherfuckers.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
So here's what that means.
Let's get bashing.
That felt real good, guys.
The ghoul in the far northeastern corner of the room just stands there as the flame bashes into him and he vaporizes and is dead. The 3 ghouls between you and them look badly injured, and the cultist standing next to Vadim has a very small number of hit points left.
Wow.
Go, Trill, go!
Having taken 18 points from Vadim and 26 points from Trill. So, Trill has 2 more actions left because I ruled it that drawing the bead was a non-hostile action and got to happen before initiative.
So for Trill's second action, she's going to draw another bead. And for Trill's third action, she's going to throw that bead.
This time at Vadim, just for fun.
Just for fun.
I know, I was excited for that reflex save.
If there's a bomb in your hand, just throw it.
So let's do the exact same spot. And this one's going to be different, though, because this isn't the big boy. I already threw
This
the
is
big
going
boy.
to be 4d6 of fire damage.
And that one is much less successful, but it's still something. So that one ended up being 7 damage.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see what happens. The cultist succeeded, takes half damage, turns to ash, explodes, dies.
Yeah,
Bye-bye,
well
cultist.
done.
Wow.
Another one of these ghouls fails, turns to ash, dies. Another one fails, turns to ash, dies. Another one succeeds, turns to ash, and dies.
Love it. Love it.
As within 3 actions, Trill lobs 2 of these bombs. Boom! Boom! Smoke starts pouring off of these bookshelves as the pages of these books get singed.
Oh, fuck, wait! Wait, we needed those books!
Well,
Shit!
let's see what happened to them.
Oh, no!
And there is nobody left in this room to give you any trouble, and we are out of initiative in about 3 seconds.
So Trill is super proud of herself that she's like, wow, that necklace was really powerful. They shouldn't leave these things just lying around. I mean, this thing wasn't really lying around. We did kind of steal it from that weird spidery guy downstairs, but these things shouldn't just be lying around. That was really cool. And she's kind of saying this all out loud, and then she looks around the room and goes, wait, where'd all the books go?
Well, the books are here. There's just smoke sort of escaping off of them.
Trill starts running around the room to try and see if there's any books she can pull up the shelves to make sure they're not catching on fire from what she just did, because she's now very nervous that all these books, this restricted area, are about to catch on fire when they kind of probably need these books to bring back to the Morlabents.
Norman runs behind her going, wait, if there's some fire, we can use it to burn these bodies. I guess they already turned to ash.
Oh gosh, is Augie sad that there's nothing to eat now?
Augriel does look sad, actually. You look over towards Augriel and you see that he has a pensive look on his face, as much as you can tell from the decaying flesh and bright white opaque eyes.
Whoa.
Augriel, did you know any of them?
I didn't. I mean, I recognized maybe some of them. This is where the ghouls piled on top of us. They were waiting for us to come up the stairs beyond that door to the east. All of us following Gralgust were laid into by these creatures. The bodies of my fallen brothers and sisters stacked up around me. I forgot so much when I got sick, but now that I'm here, when they laid upon us, Gralgust just ran. He could have turned to save me, but instead, his eyes wide with the mania that had overtaken him, he just kept screaming about the Ghost Queen and ran to save himself, leaving me behind.
That sounds really hard, bud, Norman says, having stopped perusing around the perimeter of the room and walking over to Augriel. Do you think maybe it's time to say goodbye to Gralgust? And he holds out his hand.
Well, I had been keeping his tooth in my mouth as a sign of disrespect to him, but you're right, I don't need to hate him anymore.
And he spits out the tooth like blah, into Norman's hand.
And Norman kind of stiffens, but he wants to keep the tooth, and he doesn't. And he looks at Augie and he smiles brightly and he goes, "Realm and I thank you. I think you're gonna feel good to get that out of your mouth." And he gives him a very gentle, loving kind of grandmotherly cheek pat on the side where the tooth was.
It might be good to get it all out of your system as well. Have you really taken the time to mourn anyone or mourn this loss? Maybe you just need to cry. I mean, this sounds really awful. What happened to you and what Gralgust did to you and all of your literal and figurative brothers and sisters.
Well, I have not had time to mourn because the fever just shook so many of my memories away. And they're coming back to me. Now I realize that when I saw that Gralgust, my brother, believed more in his Ghost Queen and Nang Nang Bonobo than he did in family, that was probably the moment that I stopped really being alive.
Mag points to the art adorning the ornate stone door on the north end of the room. Is that your brother's Ghost Queen?
Augriel walks over to this northern door to examine it.
I thought that it was, but now that I'm looking at it more closely, this is actually something quite strange. I've never seen anything like this before.
What's strange about it? Norman says, kneeling to look at the carving.
Anybody who wants to take a closer look at this can make a religion check.
Vadim.
Yeah, I think Vadim has been sort of also uncharacteristically maybe pensive as he's been listening to Augriel's story. And he walks over and starts examining it.
And Vadim, when you get close to this, your earlier assumption that this is Belcora seems to actually be false.
Interesting.
From a distance, it appears to be Belcora, but as you get closer and closer to it, you realize that this is a much more deeply upsetting piece of ornamentation. So go ahead and give me that religion check, please.
Vadim, as he starts racking his mind, he's going to say a brief prayer to Pharasma and use his scholarly recollection focus spell. So,
Pharasma, grant me your eternal wisdom. Thank you.
And, well, I don't think I'm going to need to roll that again because that is a 20 on the die.
Oh, well, I guess I have to tell you what it is now, don't I?
Well, it would be nice.
Vadim taps into the direct power of Pharasma to make this recall knowledge check. And Vadim is immediately struck with a feeling of eerie unease as he realizes that this is actually an illustration of the outer god Nhimbaloth feeding on the spirits of those who worship her.
Ooh.
This is a depiction of Nhimbaloth feeding, eating ghosts.
Nhimbaloth is a woman? Or is Nhimbaloth portrayed with both genders?
I think that all that Vadim knows from investigating this particular piece of artwork is that this is a representation of Nhimbaloth that shows her as a female humanoid figure.
I think because the shrine right on the first floor had pictures, and I feel like there we each had different understandings of, but she her pronouns seemed to apply to Nhimbaloth in our various understandings of this like female deity that is like represents death.
The one that Mag knows is from swamp lore, that she's known as the Bog Mother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't make that connection.
I guess for Norman it was a planet that was like the planet of death, but
I remember
There was
the planet
a star,
part.
I believe, as well.
These are sort
Yeah.
of different incarnations or like versions of. I guess I don't know whether they were all female or not, but at least some of them were for sure.
I think it's worth underlining also that Nhimbaloth is not a commonly worshipped god. Any information that you have about Nhimbaloth is contradictory and is incomplete because she is, whatever is, something only spoken about in whispers. This is not a mainstream deity by any means.
Their cult is very secretive.
we have no knowledge, any of us, like Nhimbaloth seems to be separate from Belcora, even though they are both sort of, I know this isn't Belcora, but like we don't have any reason to link them yet, or at all, ever, maybe.
Well, Belcora seemed to worship Nhimbaloth.
Right. She had the shrine in her office. And
What I feel like I'm turning over in my mind, and Zoe, part of what I hear in your question is like, well, is it plausible that they are the same somehow?
Or that like Belcora was like a reincarnation of Nhimbaloth or something.
Right, if
avatar.
Nhimbaloth can be all of these different things the way, you know, like whatever Vishnu can be, like is Belcora one version of
Your
Nhimbaloth? Oh, are they synonymous, or are they
Nhimbaloth?
is she a personal Nhimbaloth? Yeah.
someone to eat your ghosts.
Try and get at. Yeah, I mean, she could also just be a worshiper or adherent to, but I don't know. It's like it's hard to escape the idea that she could somehow have like a more of a
Right.
connection than it's just like her chosen deity.
I feel like I'm like both of them are sort of interested in harnessing the power of death, and we know this lighthouse is somehow like feeding off of some dark source that then like in the light resurrects ghosts, brings terrible crabs to kill your friend who you have to kill, you know, but like it makes you wonder which one of them or are both of them like somehow behind the lighthouse.
Trill gets a little shiver down her spine.
Yeah, Mag too. I think it makes her feel a combination of fear and determination.
Yeah, I think Vadim operates in a similar spectrum, as he's just horrified by the idea of the process of souls being interrupted even further. You know, if undeath revolts him, this is even more of a perversion in some ways.
And I think the fact that this came to you through tapping into your connection to Pharasma probably gave Vadim like a jolt.
Yeah, it's like a
Of-
lightning bolt of knowledge, I think, that just like eyes open, shaken. Totally. This is an abomination. We must cleanse this place of this horror.
Well, should we see what's behind there and if it needs cleansing?
Who was this priestess that we've been told about? Augriel, were you ever taken to or shown to a priestess? I was thinking of asking that cultist up there a follow-up question, but things got a little heated.
Ooh, snap.
Were you going to ash her a question?
Ba-dum-bum.
Oh, God.
Give her the second degree burns.
Is it the canker, though, on the other side of that?
I don't know what is on the other side. I was attacked and left for dead, and I stumbled out of here, went down to the south towards where that light was. But they never even bothered to say anything to us. They just wanted to kill us and to use our bodies. I don't know if any of you have known what it is to be struck down and left for dead like this, but it has weighed horribly on me.
And Vadim at this point puts his hand on Augriel and says, I understand. I know what you've been through. I'm sorry.
A leech almost once killed me. It was basically the same thing. So yeah, I totally get it.
Thank you, Norman. That was lovely.
Trill looks up at Vadim. In the back of her mind, she's kind of just wondering what on earth he saw in Last Wall. Doesn't say anything out loud. It's just something that's running through Trill's mind.
And you said also that Trill was looking at these books, right?
Yes, Trill. So she had paused as they got into the conversation with Augie, but before that all began, Trill did start going through the books to try and to make sure she could save things and see what was there.
So I'm imagining that you're having to like pat out these books as there's just these tiny little embers are tearing through the covers of the exposed parts of the books that are exposed to the air.
And also, as she was going to see if there was any titles that Morlabunt and his husband had mentioned.
Well, Trill, as she does this search of these books, realizes that she has hit the mother lode. 1 book matching Morlabunt's list. 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 books, 6 books on Morlabunt's list. Only slightly worse for wear from having multiple fireballs thrown at them.
I think that patina will make them more valuable, right?
Yeah.
The look.
And she starts looking through these. She's like,
Guys, I think I found the books that Morlabunt that they wanted, and
he's got really weird taste, guys. Oh my god.
What is that camel doing?
I don't think that's a camel, Norman.
What isn't that camel doing?
Mag has another of the books. She's standing off alone with a stricken look on her face, and she's just rotating the book 90 degrees upside down, 90 degrees further. She's just continuing to rotate this one page with a look of distaste on her face.
Trill makes a pile and she kind of hands them over to Mag. Want to put them in your backpack?
I suppose.
You've got some choices to make here because these books are heavy. Each of these books weighs 1 bulk, and Mag currently is carrying...
We should spread them out then.
8 of her 9 bulk that she can carry before she is encumbered. She can carry a total of 14 before she just can't move anymore. So I don't know what you guys want to do, but moving these books all together is going to take a little bit of strategizing.
Well, one thing we could do is kind of bag them up, parcel them up somehow. We could put them in that bathroom that no one ever goes into and
That's
just
smart.
stash them there for a little while until we're ready for the end of the
Smart.
day, and we can come back and get them and get back to town. If we're slowed down
Good
on the way back to
call.
town, we can figure that out later.
Mag's
Yeah.
very smart.
That's a terrific idea, Meg.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought of it myself.
Can we also look and see if there's any of the books from the list that we had seen way back when, like What the Worm Knows, those books?
Secrets of the Skull.
Norman is also looking for treasure or any other valuables while they're doing that.
What the Worm Knows.
That's going to take a little more time. I'm going to say that around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, about 20 minutes of searching, including all of this time looking for more Lobent's books, you're satisfied that those 3 particular books that were on Volek Azrene's list are not here. During that time, Norman is moving around the room, touching walls, looking for things that are hidden. There's nothing hidden in this room, but there are a number of doors. There's the door that you came through to the west. There's the door with this illustration of Nhimbaloth feeding on the souls of her followers, leading off to the north. There's this door that Augriel said that he had come through to get here off to the east. And then there are 2 more doors leading off to the south. Aside from these 4 possible exits from the room, you don't find anything of value.
Are there any, I assume there are no labels on these doors aside from the one door that has the Nhimbaloth carving?
That's right.
Are there any little white gloves so that when we touch all these valuable books, we're not, harming them with our oils?
They all caught fire and are gone now. I'm sorry. You're going to be getting your oils all over
these books. Would have been nice with my
books.
cane. I feel like a dapper white glove and a silver cane, but... Oh, that Nhimbaloth.
Oh, no.
Now we're doing Chicago
Horrible.
also. Okay.
What aren't we doing?
Where do you guys think you want to go now?
I think Vadim would be interested to poke around in the rest of the collection before we go through the big ornate Nhimbaloth doors. It'd be good to watch our backs, make sure nothing's going to come up and stab us in them.
So Widdershins?
Yeah, I also, from a tactical standpoint, I do feel like now that Trill's used 2 of those firebombs and Trill only has 2 spell slots left, going into those big doors feels kind of dangerous without having gone and rested and recollected.
Yeah. I mean, we still have a decent number of resources. Let's see how we feel,
Okay.
Let's clear the
I
other
don't know,
ones
though.
and
This is just
see.
me feeling nervous.
Right. We know the door to the east goes down,
Right, the east is stairs down, which
we
we don't
want
do yet.
any part of
So
that.
let's
So
do
we
the
have these.
south too and see what happens.
So yeah, there are 2 doors here leading off to the south. One on the west and one on the east.
Norman stops at the one on the west, and he's like, if we're doing this crazy, let's do it crazy. It's got to be Widdershins. Mag?
David's sort of bummed that there might have been some other interaction to have in here, but we came in with our weapons out. But I think if there's anything behind these doors, it's probably pretty hazardous. So gonna draw a weapon one-handed, and
Norman gets his rapier out.
Vadim draws vigilance in his dagger.
Trill is searching.
and while I guess probably scouting for enemies, Mag pushes the door open.
As you approach the door, you hear conversation on the other side.
Oh, so Mag stops, makes a hand motion to the others to hold fast in their positions and be quiet. And then Mag motions to Norman to come and try and listen at the door.
Norman listens.
So you hear 2 voices on the other side of this door, and they are arguing with each other. I think flesh tastes better once the violet fungus seeps through the flesh. And the other one responds, no, you're a fool. The fungus is a bastardization of pure flesh flavor. It is a sin against the pure flesh. The fungus is for simple people. The other one says, no, fool! The fungus is a delicacy. It flavors the meat and the flesh. The other one says, you have no taste. You don't and it's just like this back and forth as these two ghouls on the other side of the door seem to be arguing about whether or not it's better to eat flesh that has been exposed to some sort of fungus.
They're like the Siskel and Ebert of cannibalism.
Norman just sighs and looks at everyone and he goes, more ghouls.
Oh, let's go in. Vadim gets very excited and starts like getting loose, cracks his neck and his shoulders.
Trill rolls her eyes.
Should I just go to the front with my firebomb again?
I'd say save that for the hallway. I don't know.
Yeah. Mag takes up a position in front of the door, and this time she opens it.
The four of you push down a short 15-foot hallway into a room with long shelves with chairs drawn up to them on all sides of the room. There are rancid stains of old blood and decay all over the shelves and floor. This looks like it was once some kind of a storage, or is still a storage room of some sort, although nothing is presently being stored in here. Augriel whispers to you,
I wonder if this is where they took those who came with me after they were dead.
Oh,
This is
Augie.
a horrible place.
Yes, it smells like an abattoir.
Ooh.
and in the middle of this room, you see two of these ghoul cultists in the robes arguing, not noticing you until you have managed to get into position in the room.
Mag says, excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. What fungus were you referring to?
The violet fungus. This fool thinks that it ruins the flavor of the meat. And the other one says, no, this fool thinks that it is good. And they both turn and look at you and go, wait, who are you? And let's... Yeah. Roll for initiative.
Roll for initiative.
As they leap off of their chairs and scramble to try to catch up with a situation that has gotten away from them just because they've been arguing so fervently among each other.
Norman's in the back of the pack. Okay, if he rolls stealth.
Absolutely.
Mag kind of served them up a little bit of a bit to do there. Could she roll straight man for initiative?
Yeah, go ahead and roll straight man. Straight man lore, of course, gives you +5. Should be no problem.
However, you are obligated to tell us
no.
who is on first, is the only thing.
No.
That's right.
All right, let's see how everybody did on this initiative roll. Robin, you sound like you're very happy right now. How did you roll?
No, I rolled a 1 on the die.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
No, that's not good. Armat, how did Vadim do?
Vadim didn't do great either. I think the whole fungus discussion sort of just like got him a little irpy, and he was like all hyped up, and it's like the moment after you do the do and you're like, what have I done? What have I done?
The two.
Post-due clarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, so many episode titles this episode. David, how did you roll for Mag?
Not much better. It's only a 14 for Mag, who, despite drawing her weapon, wandering in and interacting with the two adversaries, somehow wasn't ready. Let's say she sneezed. So it's only a 14 for Mag.
Oh, you hate to see it. How did Norman do?
Also sleepy in the back. Maybe he got I don't know. He realized the shoelace was undone, and because he hates shoes, he got distracted by that. So only an 11 for Norman as well.
There you go.
Augriel rolled very well. He rolled a
Love that
19
guy.
on the die. So he is going at a 27.
Love Augie.
And here we go. It's the beginning of round 1. We're in this 15-foot wide, 30-foot long chamber with bloodstains all over it and desks and chairs lining the walls. There are 2 ghouls in the southern part of the room, and the four of you have come in through this hallway. And here we go. At the top of round 1, Augriel is going to go first, and he says,
What would you have me do?
Attack the one on the right. Go behind it and then attack it.
Oh, okay, yes, that's what I'll do.
And Augriel runs to the far side of the ghoul on the, let's see, Mag's right would be the western side of the room. And Augriel opens up his mouth to strike at this ghoul cultist with his jaws. That's going to be a 20 to hit, which just barely hits. He gets a little bit of the flesh off of this ghoul's shoulder. However, that is a strong damage roll, 13 points of damage to the ghoul. And he continues attacking per Mag's instruction and swings a claw out towards the ghoul. That is a 18 on the die. That's a 26. That's going to hit. And Augriel does 9 more points of damage to the ghoul.
Dang.
That's right. Get it for what they did to your family.
And the two ghouls say, "That is that freak again." And Augriel says,
You will pay for what you have done.
and it is now the turn of the cultist on the other side of the room, who is going to run straight towards Mag, who is in the front line, and open its jaws to bite Mag with a strike with its teeth. That is a 18 to hit.
An 18 just barely misses as Mag whips her shoulders around and just barely evades the blow.
And as the shoulder whips around, a claw lashes out at Mag. This time it is a 20 to hit.
And that just barely catches Mag as her momentum carries her just a little too close to her enemy.
So you feel this claw tear into your shoulder. That's going to be 8 points of damage, and I need Mag to make a fortitude save.
This is the whatever disease he's been trying to get us with for a while.
It's purple fungus disease. All right, taking 8 damage, and here is that fortitude save. That is a 19 to save.
You feel a tingling rushing through your body, and you find that you are paralyzed. As the toxins, the disease that covered this creature's body hits you with basically the worst condition in the game. What it means is that your body is frozen in place. You have the flat-footed condition. You can't act except to recall knowledge. Your senses still function, but you can only perceive things that are happening right in front of you. You can't move. You can't do anything. At the end of your turn, you can make another save, but you are helpless right now. It's bad.
I'm just like a rock? I'm like a statue of Mag?
Yes.
It's worse. I'm locked in. So I can still perceive things and I can learn things, but if I learn things, I can't tell anyone.
Yes.
We were talking about personal hells last episode. This is up there.
You guys have gotten so lucky with these ghouls. They are a nightmare.
Apparently.
And that nightmare begins right now on Mag's turn, as Mag is paralyzed and can't do anything. I'm going to say it's probably not even worth it to you to recall knowledge, because you now know everything about the ghouls. They can paralyze you. They can give you ghoul fever.
Wow.
It's bad.
Out of curiosity, was this a fear effect?
No, but I get it. I get that it feels like one.
I'm afraid.
It takes a Mag a moment to realize within her own mind. Mag thinks to rage.
Ooh, can Mag rage?
Can Mag rage?
Can Mag rage while paralyzed? You can only use actions that require the use of your mind. Mag can rage, for sure.
Raging rock.
Well, Mag certainly rages.
Got it.
And Mag rages the way that she customarily would at the beginning of a fight. And it isn't until the initial rush of adrenaline and barbaric fury is pulsing through her. She goes to raise her weapon to strike, and she realizes that she can't move, and she's confused. She's staggered for a moment by this, and so she thinks to try again. In her mind, she's sending all the messages to her muscles to move, and it's with a creeping horror that she realizes that she's rooted to the spot. And so she instead focuses all of her energy toward trying to shrug off the effects of this toxin. You said fortitude.
Fortitude. Mag's best save.
And that's a 16 to save.
So that 16 fails.
I guess I could just hero point this. I'm going to lose the thing in a second anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What's the worst that could happen? You roll a 1?
That is the worst that could happen. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. I'll use my lone hero point to re-roll that fort save and try and break out of this toxic horror. And that is a 22.
Ooh.
So Mag busts through and feels her body start to move again as breath re-enters her body. And she is back in action at the end of this turn.
Wowza. That's intense.
It's bad. Speaking of bad, it's time for the next cultist to go. They run straight towards Vadim. It's the same game plan as it was against Mag. First, a jaws strike. That is a 30 to hit.
Ooh.
That is a critical hit.
Yikes.
That's 24 points of damage, and I need Vadim to make a fortitude save.
Come on, Vadim.
26.
Yeah.
Vadim feels the tingling enter his body and pushes it away. No big deal. The claw flashes forward in front of Vadim's face. That's a 17.
That will not hit.
Vadim's able to jerk his head back as this claw passes right in front of Vadim's face, and it is now Vadim's turn. Vadim and Mag are both face-to-face with these ghouls. What are you going to do?
I guess Vadim will look to Trill and be like, when you're ready, on your mark. And he delays his turn until after she's gone.
Yeah, help us out, Trill Girl. And Norman delays too.
Okay. Trill takes her lute out and she plays her lingering composition to give everyone a buff from Inspire Courage. And that is a good lingering composition. She rolls a 29.
Critical success. The next composition cantrip does 4 rounds.
So everyone gets 4 rounds of Inspiring Courage.
Thank
Hell
you, Trill.
yeah. Trill FTW.
Yeah, I think it's feeling good again. I like the way this one goes. Oh, yeah. I've been so sad, but I'm feeling good now because Trill's song
Augriel
got
turns
me
into
feeling
Buddy
better.
the Elf anytime Trill plays music.
I think Augriel is Lars's ideal listener as a musician.
Yeah, he's a guy that feels terrible, and then he feels great once the music
And then
starts
as soon
playing.
as you play him the music,
What a dream.
it's amazing.
Let's do just a classic TKP. Because, we're in the small little room and I still have 2 actions left. She'll TKP the one that's closer to her because that's the one that she has a straight shot of. And that is a respectable 21.
Oh.
That hits. What are you throwing with this TKP?
There's some gross bones on the floor.
Gross bones.
Totally. So bludgeoning damage from gross bones.
And so she's smacking some gross bones at that guy who's right diagonal to her. And that's going to do 13 damage.
Excellent damage roll. This ghoul has been hit twice really badly and is near death as this bone slams into it. And with that, it is now Vadim's turn.
Vadim just launches immediately, having been inspired by Trill, just launches right into a double slice. No preamble, just blades, blades, blades.
Against the ghouls.
And Vadim, I'm going to use a hero point on that first vigilance strike because I got a 16, and I'm guessing that's not going to hit.
16 does not hit.
So I'm going to use hero point, reroll that. And that's a 14.
That one hits, though.
Yeah. But the dagger strike is a 29.
That's a critical hit as Vadim finds a bit of exposed bone that he's able to chip away at aggressively.
Cool. 10 damage.
And 10 damage is just barely enough to send this cultist crumpling to the floor.
Cool.
Nice.
Vadim!
For his last action, he keeps moving and strides down to flank the other canker cultist.
Nice.
Keeps me from doing it, and it won't be flat-footed to me now. Which I was potentially going to go in there, but
I can readjust. I'm willing to work with the team. Vadim is team player.
Oh, wait, yeah, just go to the side so that...
Vadim, I want a piece of that thing. It tried to fuck with Mag.
Cool.
So Norman comes loping around to the east side to flank this thing with Mag, where Vadim was about to head, but instead is to the west of it. And he's got his rapier out, and he just swipes at this thing. Dude, lay off of us. Fungus is gross. That's a 27.
That 27, because it is flat-footed, because you are flanking with Mag, is a critical hit.
Yes.
Oh!
That is 20 damage.
Ooh.
Nice.
Absolutely. Norman finds a weak point. This rapier, of course, doing deadly damage, throws an extra D8 onto the damage. So big hit from Norman. What else is Norman going to do?
And then he just swipes. He backhand swipes back with the rapier for an 8. Does that one hit with the flanking? If you think about the flanking thing,
With the flanking
and the Inspire Courage.
With the flanking, it is just barely not a critical miss.
all right, I'll take that. Augie, get over on the other side of him. Help Vadim out.
Augriel's turn starts at the beginning of round 2.
Yes, of course. I'll get him.
Here's the deal at the beginning of round 2. There is this cultist in the center of this room, and Mag, Norman, and Vadim are clustered around him. They are joined by Augriel, who runs to the far eastern side of this cultist and reaches out his jaws to try to rip a chunk out of him. And that is a 14 to hit. So Augriel snaps at the air and then slashes forward with his claw. That is a 26 to hit, which
Nice,
would
Augie.
hit if now that I remember to roll Dazzled, which I never ever remember to do. That's a 14 on the flat check, so this hit's going to go through. And that is a total of 8 points of damage to this cultist. It is now the cultist's turn. The cultist starts casting a spell. That's right. It's a 3-action spell. You know it. You love it. It is 3-action harm as a burst of negative energy flies out.
It looks
Yes.
like you actually made Augriel take 8 damage instead of the cultist.
Oh, did I?
It says
Yeah.
Augriel
I'd
takes
rather
8
the
damage,
cultist took
and
it,
the cultist
frankly.
takes 3
Yeah,
damage.
Yeah, like if I had to pick
That's
between them,
smart.
I'd say let's have the
Yeah.
cultist take it.
Good call.
Yeah.
Very good.
And,
You know,
yeah.
I'm just trying to win by any means, guys. I'm just trying to.
Thank you.
Am I playing dirty? Sure. Yeah, I'm playing dirty.
This beast of an NPC feels almost dirty.
So here comes a 3-action harm as he starts chanting, moving his arms around, throwing materials around, and a blast of negative energy comes out. Here's how much damage you guys have to save against. Terrible damage roll. 4.
Ooh.
Vadim is also going to glimpse that for...
Well, why don't we
Mag.
see what the saving throws are?
Yeah, whoever
first?
fails the most.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good call,
this-
yeah.
So I need everybody to make a fortitude save, please.
Well, that's never a good thing.
Okay, what did you guys roll?
That's 14 for Mag.
16 for Vadim.
Is this a fear effect? It's a 14 for Norman.
It is not a fear effect.
Oh.
18 for Trill.
Augriel rolls a 21. He's the only one who succeeds. That means all of you are going to take 4 points of damage. Augriel is going to... Augriel gets healed by this. It doesn't matter what Augriel did.
He's the
Trill,
best.
of course, we know resists 5 from the harm spell, so she is fine.
Love that amulet.
Who's getting glimpsed?
Vadim will glimpse for Mag because she's already been injured.
Thank you, Vadim. So that's, I guess, none of it goes through.
Yeah, resistance 5.
Resistance 5. Okay, none of it goes through. So what are we feeling here? Stupefied? We gonna enfeeble?
I think enfeeble because they like those claw strikes.
Yeah, it feels like enfeeble.
As the strength drains out of this cultist, their turn ends. It is now Mag's turn. Mag is raging. Mag is inspired. But more importantly, Mag is not paralyzed and is flanking this cultist with Norman. What will Mag
Let's go,
do?
Mag!
The first thing Mag is going to do is scream in this thing's face.
Not a fan of the violet fungus, I see.
Okay, what would Mag say in response to that? She'd probably say something like,
That sounds like her, yeah.
So let's try and demoralize, shall we? And that is a 19 to demoralize.
Unfortunately, this cultist is particularly strong of mind, and that does not work. They're casting spells and stuff.
Yeah. One of these episodes, I'm going to successfully intimidate something with my barbarian. One of these days. To the moon, Alice. All right. We're gonna
a nice 70-year-old reference to
All right. Mag will grab the bastard sword with a second hand, and then we got a two-handed strike, and Mag dearly would like to end this thing. And I don't think a 5 on the die for a 16 is going to do it.
Even though this cultist is distracted by Norman behind it, that's a mess. Trill sees Mag swing, and it's her turn.
Trill is going to pass to let Vadim and Norman go first. Is true where Trill is. She's not super useful right now.
Cool. Vadim will launch right into another double strike. He's the best at what he does, and what he does is miss a lot of double strikes.
Sometimes it's one of two.
That is 23 for both rolls.
Nice!
That means both rolls hit.
Cool.
You knew it was going to be 23. It was going to come back.
Oh my
Jim
God.
Carrey, you are blessed by Jim Carrey on this day.
I knew if I had Trill pass, it would be a good thing.
So that is a total of 16 damage.
And 16 points of damage. Phrasma's positive energy washing through this creature as Vigilance, the Eldori dueling sword, burns through the ghoul. A follow-up strike with the knife means that the ghoul collapses on the ground.
Dope!
And for the second time in this episode, you have demolished some ghouls very, very quickly.
And as the ghoul falls to the ground, Mag, still furious from having felt the paralytic effects coming from this specific ghoul, this individual ghoul, screams once more and brings her sword down and carves off the arm that it used to reach out and strike her and paralyze her. And she kneels to the ground, picks up the arm, screams in its face again, and tosses the arm to Augriel to eat.
Augriel opens his mouth in like slow motion as this thing hurtles through
like
the air.
Like a dog with a frisbee?
Like a dog with a frisbee. His like weird slack flesh pulling off of the bones in his face as he in slow motion just wait, hold on a second. And he a second later in a dramatic motion wipes his mouth clean with his arm with the bone extruding out of it, and he says,
Thank you so much for that. You truly are a great friend.
And Mag turns back to Augriel and says, "We'll try the other arm with the fungus."
Vadim covers his eyes, starts rubbing at his temples, and goes, "I hate everything about what just happened. That's so horrifying."
Will any of this make you feel better? And Norman starts rummaging through the body to see if there's any loot on it he can take.
Oh my god. He's just like sheathing vigilance and his daggers and is just like, "Pharasma, give me patience."
Robin has fallen off of
Robin's
her chair.
done.
Like literally off the chair.
Y'all broke me. Oh, y'all broke me with that.
I really enjoy Vadim sort of like frazzled parent.
Yeah.
I'm drawing from your energy, totally.
That's right. That's right. It's been a long week, Matt.
Trill looks at Mag. That's her name. I'm sorry. That totally threw me. That was amazing. Trill looks at Mag. Eyebrows knit together in consternation.
Mag, you okay? Did you just have a moment there?
I don't like the feeling of being unable to affect my circumstances.
Okay then, let's maybe not spend too much more time in this room then, okay?
And Trill wants to just do a quick search of the room.
Mag stalks back through the hallway to the main door to gather herself.
Norman doesn't find much of value on these ghouls. As you search through these robes, you get the impression that they're religious fanatics. There's no personal belongings that they have. These ghouls don't use weapons. They just attack with their physical bodies. And aside from some strange arcane tattoos on their bodies that help them do magic, you don't see much in the way of material culture on the ghouls.
They're simple folks.
Trill, on the southern wall of the room, finds a section of shelving that seems as though it's a little bit loose.
Secret door?
Trill wiggles that loose shelving.
The shelving folds down and reveals a door behind it that opens up into a short 15-foot hallway with another door behind that.
Ooh.
Trill shouts down the hallway that Mag went down.
Hey Mag, I know you don't want to be in this room anymore, but I found a secret door.
Secret door.
Mag sprints
secret
back
door.
into the room.
Tripping over the arm.
Vadim,
she
do you need to
severed.
lay on hands before we leave this room?
Yeah, maybe we take an hour, because I think it's going to take at least 5 laying on hands for Vadim to heal himself back up to full, and that'd be 50 minutes. So maybe during the hour, Norman could try and treat wounds on a couple of the other folks.
Sure, you can totally treat wounds and refocus Pharasma at the same time, so that's no problem.
Oh, perfect. Then Vadim can make treat wounds checks for everyone, and it'll probably only take about an hour.
Is anyone else down health? I need 1 lay on hands over here.
Same.
Well, if that's the case,
good.
then we could just do an hour 10, and Vadim
Yeah.
will do it all with Pharasma laying on hands.
After an hour 10, that puts us right around 4:10 in the afternoon. The day is stretching on for sure.
And assuming Trill also got her focus point back from just tuning her lute during that time.
Yes. The sounds of Trill's lute fill the room as everyone gets treated to Pharasma's healing power. And it's reaching into late afternoon. What are you guys going to do?
Secret door?
Secret door.
Secret
Okay,
door.
guys.
Secret door. Secret door. Secret.
Let's try this.
So the 4 of you start chanting like fools the word secret door over and over again.
we got to squeeze in here. So Mag will go first, and it looks like Vadim is going to follow after. Maybe let's make a little room for Augie Gasgali after that, since he's our other tank.
Our warrior.
The four of you with Augriel push into another room that looks similar to the room that you found to the south of Belcora's office. It is a spare guard room. No identifying features here whatsoever, aside from on the eastern side of this room, there is a small 5-foot alcove that looks like a miniature version of the larger teleportation rooms that you have seen in other parts of
Maybe it's for burning garbage? Doesn't seem big enough to burn people. I don't know.
Trill wants to go investigate. I believe this is an occult check, right? These symbols?
Yes, you've already looked at things like this. I'm not going to ask you to make the check. Trill knows that this is similar to the portal that you have found in other places. It is non-functional. It would take some sort of magic to get it to work again. But Trill, in looking at this portal, gets the sense that this smaller set of runes indicates a simple back and forth connection between two portals.
So this is like pneumatic tubes, and the other one is like flu powder in Harry Potter.
Such a good analogy.
Hold on, no one touch it. I've got an idea, Norman says, and he sprints back to the room to the north, grabs the arm, comes in and chucks it into the thing to see what happens.
The arm splats against the wall, and there's a brief 5-second pause before Augriel says,
If you're done with that, is it okay if I eat that one too?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just wanted to make sure we weren't all going to catch fire.
Well, do we want to go through this door to the south, or should we check out that other room in the restriction section?
It's kind of like the other one that we looked at, this other room we've been in before. So I have a feeling this door probably goes down one more level. Should we just open it and see if these are stairs? That's my guess.
Secret door. Norman, hasn't. He's all ramped up with his incinerator and his.
Trill puts her ear up to the door to see if she hears anything.
Trill, scouting for enemies, doesn't hear any life on the other side of the door, but does hear the faint sound of water gently sloshing every few seconds.
Ella, I don't think it's stairs on the other side of this. I hear water?
All right, Mag, open it up. What is it?
I wonder, says Mag as she approaches the door to open it, this could be one of those collapsed areas that's open to the outdoors. She listens one more time and pushes the door open.
Mag pushes the door open and finds herself blasted with cold, damp air as the pressure differential between the two sides of the door sends a rush of humid air into the room.
She sneezes again.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yang.
And she sees a set of stairs leading down, but they seem to level out on the floor of a natural cavern rather than leading down a story below.
So it's like a half flight.
Right. Just a short distance below the level of floor that you're on, there's a natural cavern floor.
Mag takes the lead and touches the Wayfinder on her breastplate to increase the light a little bit in order to be able to see, hopefully, as far as it will allow.
Ooh, it feels like we're going downstairs, though. Don't like it.
And as you push down these stairs, you find yourself hearing more of that dripping, sloshing sound of water as you're in a large natural cavern chamber. To the east of you, there's a pond, and there's a bit of overflow from that pond running to the north in a little rivulet of water. When you look at the pond and look up, you see that there's a 5-foot diameter hole in the ceiling above the center of this little pond.
Norman puts his finger up and like motions for everyone to be silent, and he sends his mage hand out to the little island to see if it can like probe around it all and tell anything about what's going on there.
Trill wants to cast her shield for herself.
So Trill starts casting shield. Norman sends a mage hand over towards the pond. And you see a moment later, as this hand, ghostly hand, floats towards the pond, a movement in the shadows. And two things happen simultaneously. This shadowy figure moves up, and you see a dark mouth open up and just swallow Norman's mage hand whole. And then you see a number of other mouths on this shadowy figure open up and start going dob 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 dob, and you are all suddenly struck with a feeling of confusion and like reality is twisting around you as the sounds of all of these different mouths going dob 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 reverberate through the room. And as your vision turns sideways and distorts, you realize that we're going to have to pick this up next time.
I knew we didn't want to go downstairs!
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production, produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.